President Biden's climate czar, John Kerry, is praising the Inflation Reduction Act for how it will help fight climate change, not for how it may help Americans who cannot make ends meet right now. Kerry said this: "We're running around saying I support the IRA. That's tricky in politics. But here we are, and I'm not sure how much it has to do with inflation, but that's okay." Ooh, that's not okay. It's called the Inflation Reduction Act. The president's defended that. Power panel, Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union, David Carlucci, former Democratic New York State Senator. Matt, I'll come to you first. Top line reaction.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem for the Biden administration is these economic woes top the list of every poll that voters care about. And their signature legislative issue, this inflation, whatever they call it, Reduction Act, is really a climate bill, and it's about subsidizing green energy, which is actually going to make inflation worse. So they don't really have an answer to these core questions of what do we do about energy prices, especially as we head to winter? What do we do about inflation? What do we do about food prices? What do we do about this economy that seems to not be improving?
Look, David, the climate czar called it. He said this doesn't have anything to do with inflation. This bill was about climate change. So we'll just have that as settled and move on. I am curious to know, what do you think stands out? What is your favorite as a Democrat Biden climate change policy? What is selling it?
I think there's a whole bunch here. So we talk about climate. It's not just climate. Well, I mean, climate we can talk about, but I think let's talk about capping the out-of-pocket health care expenses for seniors.
We're going to talk climate.
And allowing
that's what we're going to talk about, because that's where we're focused. The climate czar says that this is all about the climate, this bill, and all of that spending. So what do you like about it? Because right now we have some of the lowest reserves in this country, which is why the gas prices are projected to go right back up.
Well, this law, the Inflation Reduction Act, does do something to fight against inflation. I haven't seen reports that say it'll have a negative effect.
No, the CBO and Penn Morton said it'll have zero effect. Zero effect until 2031, when it has maybe a little. But they didn't say which direction.
Well, we know that there's very little that Congress, the president, can do to impact inflation. However, the president and the Democrats in Congress have left no stops pulled out. They're doing everything they can. So when we talk about climate, this is a significant investment in our fight against climate change and our economy. When we look at the legislation, it's requiring that the investments in renewable energy are coming from products that have to be made in America and in locations that have been underserved for years. So this is going to be a dramatic effect on the climate, but also our economy.
Okay. No one sees that inflation part but you. Not even John Kerry. We'll move on.
Well, and if we talk about naming a bill...
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is the latest Democrat to dodge a question about whether President Biden should run for re-election in 2024. Nancy Pelosi now joining a growing list of Democrats who have been ducking the question. And at least two lawmakers outright said he should not run again. The president on Sunday said it's too early to make a decision. Matt.
Yeah, Joe Biden ducked the question, too. This is a really interesting question, Harris, because you're going into this election, which is, right around the corner. And the nanosecond after that election, this question is, does Donald Trump announce his run for the presidency? Does someone else? And what does Joe Biden do? He has to have the answer. By the way, if Joe Biden doesn't run, then the question goes to Kamala Harris, who has very irregular polling and doesn't seem to perform well on the stump. Is that going to be their standard bearer? A lot of people like me would like to see that. Or is there going to be a shift? Are they going to take this diversity pick of a vice president, move her off to the side somehow, and go grab someone like Gavin Newsom? It's an amazing political story to see unfolding.
It's interesting to hear you put it like that. David, a few seconds left, and you say what?
Well, the Democrats have a very big tent. And because a few Democratic elected officials have not committed to supporting Biden or say someone else should run, I think it means very little. The fact is that if Biden keeps delivering...
That's the question now. Who could run?
Oh, I think it could be a candidate that we don't even talk about right now. I mean, we've got something like 774 days until the 2024 election. So we've got some time. A lot can happen. But I think what's important is if Biden keeps delivering, he's going to be in good position to get reelected in 24.
All right. Good to see you both. Thank you. Outnumbered is after the break.